a police officer draws his
Here, I'll show you up to this point. They're like
handgun.
They're breaking the fucking window.
There's a gun! There's a gun! Hey, he's got a gun!
The cop literally fucking pulls his gun out. They say he's got a gun, and then that's the moment where Ashley Babbitt gets killed behind this barricade. From behind a barricade, a cop just pulls his gun out and shoots Ashley Babbitt.
Babbitt vaults into the window.
Here's Ashley Babbitt's last moments, vaulting through the window, trying to get in.
And the officer shoots her once.
Boom. There is no way that I can believe that the U.S. intelligence not shot from behind a barricade. No, she got no, the cop is literally behind a barricade and she's trying to get through a fucking window and he just shoots her. They're actually just going to skip the rioters telling those cops to abandon their post because it makes the cops look bad. Fuck New York Times. No, they briefly show it. They briefly show that the rioters are like, come on, get out of here. Get out of here. Just let us in, let us in, let us through. The ironic thing is that she was shot once while committing a crime, but any black guy in Oakland will be lit up like a Christmas tree for no real reason. Okay, but you know that I don't advocate for that, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, you guys make it seem like cops are a force of nature, that they're gonna murder, okay? So you would rather, have them murder someone that is a psychotic QAnon supporter rather than a black person. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they shouldn't murder. Okay? At this point, the entirety on the other side, the entire fucking armed police force is like literally right there. As the New York Times also pointed out. Start fucking tear gassing that hallway. Beat the shit out of Ashley Babbitt. Take advantage of the barricade that you've placed. Start tasing people. That's hindsight. Okay, well, we are analyzing the situation in the aftermath, so I don't know why you're... Dude, you guys all sound fucking like conservatives who justify police killings. I'm just letting you know. That's hindsight, baby. He looked dangerous at the time. Or sometimes when they are actually in the process of being a danger. That was the only armed person behind that barricade. Where do you see the whole police force? Did you not see them talk about the police leaving because the armed guards have now come in to the fray? Anyway, let's keep going.
It's a fatal wound through the upper chest. Inside the chamber, the floor is clear, but lawmakers in the balcony are sheltering in place.
Everybody stay down! Get down!
Yeah. The fuck?
Take your pins off!
Pins off!
They now remove the breastpins that identify them as members of Congress. A group of rioters who almost made it to the balcony are held at gunpoint as it's finally evacuated.
Damn, bro, that's crazy. That's crazy that the armed forces, the armed officers that have like riot shields and shit came in and actually stopped the breach. But that's weird. Doesn't seem like there was one cop there, but I guess like him shooting and killing Ashley Babbitt is the reason why they were leaving. Damn.
Now Trump supporters have achieved.
Just because there is a more justifiable reason to shoot Ashley Babbitt doesn't mean it's like actually justifiable for the cops to shoot someone, okay? I don't know why you guys keep saying this. Of course, it's more justifiable for Ashley Babbitt to be shot, literally breaching a fucking government building, than a random black person that was skateboarding or some shit, or Tamir Rice. I'm not saying that. I don't know why you guys literally think that like there is no level of nuance to this. It's either like cops are fucking justifiable to escalate and murder someone, or they're not. Okay? It's very fucking annoying. Why did this guy say 15K Andy?
Achieved their goal, stopping the election certification.
Defend your liberty! Yes! Defend your Constitution!
Because you literally equated to that? Your takes are shit as fuck? No. There are varying degrees. Okay? Don't move on. Chat deserves every second of the stun lock. I mean, it's not even a fucking... It's not even a stun lock. This is like... 27, 25, because obviously you don't want to pay attention to the video. That barricade was the only thing holding the evacuation point. No, we saw it. They describe it. You're the only one treating this with no nuance. Some murder is okay. Got it. On this day, you had 100K viewers? No, I had more than that. And I said the exact same thing back then. But for some reason, people were just like not as aggro about it, I think.
And while the House is evacuated, at the other side of the building, the Senate is occupied.
Treason! Treason! Treason!
On the Senate floor, they leaf through lawmakers' files,
There's gotta be something in here we can fucking use against these scumbags.
mug for photos,
Jesus Christ!
pray,
Invoke your name!
Shooting her work, though? They all ran away? That's not true. What do you mean they all ran away? They're literally... What are you talking about? They fucking breached, dog. What are you talking about? And the ones that didn't fucking breach ran away because the armed people that were behind... The armed people that were behind that one cop that fucking shot her were apprehended by those fucking armed cops. Hassan defending terrorists. Name something new, lol. Wait, what? I don't understand this take. Like, you... What? Like, what level, what political approach is this? Like, what is this person's ideology? That they're like... You're ignoring the video the crowd actually left after Ashley Babbitt was shot. Quit defending terrorists. One less terrorist alive is a good thing? Bro. Baboons like you are the reason why Guantanamo Bay still operates. I'm sorry, man. Like, you're literally the fucking reason why. You are literally the reason why Americans are so fucking hyper reactionary, dude. Oh my God, dude. This is so psychotic. You guys suck ass and dicks and balls. Just all the way. Fuck me, dude. Holy shit.
and leave a message for Mike Pence.
It's only a matter of time. Justice is coming.
As rioters inside have been rampaging throughout the Capitol, the crowd outside has grown. And that first battle has continued raging. For almost 2 hours, officers face off with rioters who say they support the police,
We've backed you forever. We've backed the blue forever.
but assault them anyway. We're going to show what happened here because it demonstrates yet again how failures by Capitol Police leaders to prepare put the safety of these officers at risk.
Leftists have a long story global history of using extreme violence versus the far right, so while your opinion is as valid as any other, I don't think it's accurate to say leftists don't preach or engage in violence is an evolved opinion, but not a leftist one. No, of course. Of course. But I'm not a fucking idiot who thinks that like you can achieve things without any fraction of violence. I also tell you that violence is a constant in the political system. As a matter of fact, politics is about the distribution of justifiable violence. This is something that I believe, and this is something that I understand, rather. Okay? That's precisely why Chad is also simultaneously yelling at me about a fucking case where a cop killed a 17-year-old black girl by the name of Micaiah Bryant for lunging at another black teenage girl with a knife, and saying that in that instance, the cop should have done nothing, but in this instance, the cop is okay for killing someone. Do you not understand that? So clearly, I do have a limit, or I do have a barrier where I consider violence to be appropriate. Do you not get it? Anyway. So clearly I don't have a, there should never be violence ever, and cops should never engage in use of force ever. There is always going to be a point where use of force is justifiable. As a matter of fact, I'm even saying that they should have applied more force here. Should shoot when it's an armed attack? No, for fuck's sake, you're right, but for the wrong reasons. You watched a video of how the EU police handle their armed attacks, and you still have this reasoning. Your position is right, but your reasoning is for when to use live fire. Scuffed. Lolliet, I understand. I have defended a victim of police violence when they had a fucking knife in the past in Philadelphia. Not every situation with an armed assailant is the same. I don't know why you guys try to fucking just level the context out until there is no nuance in any sort of situation, so you feel like your position is more defendable. Yes, I'm not saying as long as you have a fucking knife in your hand, it's justifiable for the cops to kill you. Okay, I'm not even saying that. Even then, there are plenty of ways to deal with it by de-escalation. God damn it, dude.
Capitol Police had been ordered to withhold some of their stronger weapons. But as soon as Robert Glover, a Metro Police inspector, arrives, he calls for his munitions team to help.
Cruiser 50, give me a DSO team. DSO team. DSO team to respond to the west front of the Capitol.
When the building is breached, Glover knows he needs to retreat and seeks advice from Capitol leaders.
I need a command official from Capitol so we can coordinate where they want us to pull back to. We cannot hold this without more munitions or more manpower.
But Capitol don't respond. He asks 4 times.
I need to know.
Again, remember kettling and corralling, use of fucking force that greatly escalates the situation, and what my opinions were on it with respect to the Black Lives Matter protests? This is when you're supposed to do those tactics, okay? This is an instance where you're literally supposed to do that. I hope you understand that. That is a gross escalation of force that is only appropriate in certain circumstances. This is an actual mob where it is appropriate to use that. tear gas, rubber bullets, kettling and corralling, pushing them into choke points, and then, you know, zip tying all of these fucking hogs as quickly as you can.
Capitol, wherever they want to go back to.
I don't know, Hassan, if you didn't tell me this was January 6th, it would just look like a normal tourist visit. Yeah, exactly. A normal tourist visit where I will be pushing up, you know, couches and stuff and pews to the doors in the halls of Congress. I do stuff like that all the time on normal tourist visits. I also, for the record, don't think that it's appropriate to start firing on people here. Just letting you know. I don't think it's appropriate to start firing on people in the crowd here as well. Because they're storming the Capitol building doesn't mean you should just like start fucking clapping dudes. Okay, I gotta pee.
Police lose the line.
There's a bit that we lost the line. We've lost the line. RMPD, pull back.
We the people! We are the storm!
Rioters knock an officer over, throw a fire extinguisher.
USA!
Glover issues at 10:33, a call of last resort.
1033. I repeat, 1033. West front of the Capitol. We have been pranked and we've lost the line.
On the 1033, have all units respond to assist him. Do what we're trained to do.
Crazed rioters hound the police even as they retreat to the upper level.
Get out of here! Take your big sorry asses back up in there! Run your sorry asses off!
Police now begin to guard this doorway, an iconic centerpiece of presidential inaugurations. But for another 2 hours, the same pattern will repeat. Rioters fill the terrace, instigators trigger a frenzy, and tragically, someone will die. A brutal fight erupts in the doorway. The mob heaves in a coordinated scrum.
Okay.
And when police finally push them out, they face even worse violence.
Just like my visit to the Capitol, me too. I'm always going to the Capitol and you know, doing stuff like this.
They are tased, gassed, and robbed of their equipment. They're beaten with a crutch, a hockey stick, and even an American flag. At least 4 officers are pulled into the crowd.
It's fucking nuts, dude. The fact that they didn't just go balls to the fucking wall, buck wild, like many different moments even before this, and certainly after, blows my fucking mind, dude. Like, why do we have a police force, dude? Like, you literally do nothing, dog. You do nothing. This is where you're supposed to be aggressive. It's fucking insane, dude. pick a fucking side. Do you think I'm siding with the conservatives, you fucking dingus, when I say Ashley Babbitt should not have been fucking murdered? Like, you think that my position is that she's like good and smart and was doing something that was lawful and appropriate, and like that's what your opinion is here? I guess it really doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter. You just have like a hog-like mentality. Pick a side. I usually like you, man, but your takes today are so wild as cringe. Here's the reality, folks, okay? I have a lot of positions that come across as weird to you because you're in a lot of instances just getting fed the same kind of self-reinforcing takes from the echo chambers that you're in. Okay? This is the same approach that I get. This is the same attitude that I hear from my own leftist community when I talk about how, like, one, Nazis deserve healthcare as well by virtue of being human beings, okay? And that is a way to address the material conditions that, like, literally will make it harder for Nazis to exist or more Nazis to exist. And same approach from chat whenever I say things like, we should focus on rehabilitation rather than incarceration. And the immediate take from chat, from a lot of chatters, is always, you're assuming that disagreeing with you here is without nuance? I do think so, yes. I think that there are people here that legitimately believe that state violence is appropriate against those that they disagree with. I think there are people who believe that state violence was appropriate in that circumstance because that person was an immediate threat to the lives of like every congressman on the other side. And that the only way to stop that at the bottleneck was by murdering one of those people. Okay? We have a minor disagreement in that condition. If your take is that state violence is almost always inappropriate, but in that situation, the only way that they could stop the overflow of chuds from running into the halls of Congress was to shoot one of them, then we have a minor disagreement. I'm not saying what Ashley Babbitt was doing was good. I'm not agreeing with any of the fucking chuds. I'm even going so far as to say violence in this situation would have prevented further violence from occurring. Not violence like shooting them up, lighting them up with a fucking gun, but rubber bullets and the regular kettling and corralling tactics that cops use on Black Lives Matter protesters every goddamn fucking time. Okay? This is actually, and only until everyone is evacuated from the building, by the way. After that, just let them fucking wear themselves out and then continue engaging in kettling and corralling and arresting people. Motherfucker that said pick a side is the same person who then can't understand why hogs blindly believe Trump.
One dragged by his own helmet, face down. And again, the frenzy turns fatal.
I mean, that person wasn't dead, but still, it's just like, I worry about showing certain stuff. The whole don't murder people, engaging in war and endangering lives and committing treason thing. Wait, what? So I don't get it. Like, should all of these dudes get fucking clapped? They're all doing terrorism and they're all doing an insurrection. Would the cops have been justified in like killing all of them? Oh my god, dude. Everyone is throwing up yeps. Wait, what the fuck? Are you guys serious? Holy shit, dude. Okay. You guys are fucking freaks, dude. No wonder the American government gets to be as draconian as it wants. No wonder the American government gets to fucking murder people. Jesus Christ. Yeah, just start gunning everybody down, dude. They should have just busted out the fucking M64 and just mowed through the fucking lawn.
Roseanne Boyland, a Trump supporter who has been swept up by QAnon conspiracies, is
Why scrutinize cops all the time, brother? No, yeah, sure, straight up. I shouldn't be. I'm actually pro cop with the rest of the chat.
moving toward the door. But amid the scrum, she collapses and is lying unconscious beneath the mob.
That person that fucking collapsed and they trampled over her was literally waving. Fucked up, but I was literally waving a "Don't tread on me" flag. The irony is just aggressive.
As the crowd sarcastically chants a Black Lives Matter slogan, Boylan's friend, Justin Winchell, tries to pull her to safety. He screams for help.
You can't see her, but he's like literally looking for help. That's a different person, by the way. That person didn't die.
But instead, fellow rioters trample over Boyland and charge at the police again.
Look at how horny these motherfuckers are. Look at this shit. They do this and you still support them? Wait, what? Support who? For the record, like, even here, this is a more justifiable use of deadly force than in that situation. Why are you surprised some of us don't care what happens to hogs? Because it's not about what happens to hogs. It's about what force of use is justifiable in your eyes. Because at this point, it's like, this dude is literally fucking just directly assaulting a cop.
Boyland will be pronounced dead at a local hospital in the evening.
Those guys should have at least been charged with murdering Boyle. You know what I mean? They like literally trampled over her to get to the cops and killed a cop.
By the end of the day, rioters have breached and entered the building and
I guess it's pretty tough for cops to justify canning a dude even if he's attacking police, considering there are 100 plus people directly behind him in the line of fire too. Yeah, I mean, they also were not going to fire that other cop for killing Ashley Babbitt. That would have been insane. They literally give you paid vacation when you murder unarmed black kids on the street. You think they're gonna fucking literally punish someone for murdering an insurrectionist? Of course not. This is the first time I heard 5 people died at the insurrection. Cops died at the insurrection. I don't know if you didn't know that at all or not.
at least 8 locations. There's the first breach, which we've seen, when rioters smashed through 2 windows and a door. Beside that, a rioter with a crowbar smashes in a second door and then opens it to hundreds of people.
couple cops killed themselves too.
Others smash a window next to the inauguration door
I think
and
2
climb
or 1.
inside.
I don't know. I don't know if it was related to this though. No, 1 cop died on that day. Didn't he? I thought a cop died on that day. Yeah, 1 got like...
At this entrance, police stand aside and allow rioters to stream in unchallenged.
Or, well, I mean, they were... A lady with a "Don't Tread on Me" flag was trampled to death. Yeah, we already saw that. I guess where we differ is that for me, her death was tragic and she didn't deserve to die for a fucking Facebook conspiracy theory. But in that moment, the Secret Service agent was justified in his actions. One on the day, 1 of suicide the day after.
On the north side of the building, police in riot gear yield and let the crowd in. Another 3 breaches are on the east side, 2 by the central doors into the rotunda, and this southeast door leading to the House chamber. It's the arrival of more Metropolitan Police and other agencies that finally turns the tide. When those officers enter the rotunda, they clear it in just 20 minutes. As the mob is pushed back through the east doors, their rage turns to Mike Pence, who Trump attacked earlier.
I think if Ashley Babbitt... Okay, let me point this out again. I think Ashley Babbitt breaching through and lunging at someone is different than Ashley Babbitt getting shot while she's in the process of breaching. Okay? That's the difference for me as far as the use of deadly force. I'm not looking at it as an individual act of violence versus a cop doing an individual act of like disproportionate retaliation. I'm saying that I know that they're fucking bloodthirsty. I know that they're trying to break through. But there are always, LMAO, there's no difference. If you don't think that there's any difference, you're fucking dumb. There is absolutely a difference, dude. There is absolutely a fucking difference. The issue is there is a mob there that is trying to break through. That is what is known as a choke point, okay? It's a bottleneck. That man is holding off the bottleneck. Defending a bottleneck by murdering someone is not the same as defending someone else's life that is in direct threat. If you consider Ashley Babbitt's murder to be justifiable, then you should also consider that all those other people that are trying to attempt to breach through that choke point could be killed. And it's justifiable. Like all of those other people that were like breaking the windows, like they should be killed as well by that same cop. I don't agree with that. I think that that is an indefensible position. Okay? Especially when the armed police was behind them, but still the armed police was there. And they obviously cleared it. Not because Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed, but they cleared it because they were there. It's a show of force. In most of these circumstances, a show of force is all that's necessary. Their lines were thin. The cops' lines were thin. And that is the reason why they were able to be overpowered this way. But it wasn't because someone got killed where everyone was like, oh shit, we really got out of hand. Especially because if you think that murder is the reason why people de-escalated, then why don't you think murder in all the other situations would have further escalated the tensions? That's why I said I'm not even saying that he should not have used any force whatsoever. I did say that he should have used force. I just don't think that shooting someone in that situation is the justifiable use of force. Barricaded, guns drawn. Yeah, I should be fine to smash out this window and crawl through for a chat, right? Dude, if that's literally your attitude, I'm glad that you're not a fucking cop, okay? You're missing what I'm trying to say. Have you watched the Ashley Babbitt video on this stream? The barricade was still working and the only entrance to the hallway was a window that one small person could get through at a time. Yeah, exactly. And all the fucking armed hogs were behind them. The hog cops were there. They were ready to fucking, you know. Hey, let's keep going. She was warned several times. What do you expect? Yeah, you're right, dude. Hey, when a cop warns you several times, it's okay. If you get killed, sorry, you didn't comply. Wow. Fuck. Fuck, dude.
Here. Metro officers also stop other rioters from entering on the west side, where the mob first broke in.
I'm too libby on this take. Yeah, dude. Liberals definitely, certainly disagree with me on, liberals certainly agree with me on, police force in this situation. Are you stupid? You guys are the liberals who love that the cops murdered a fucking QAnon supporter. It's actually the libs that are fucking celebrating this shit. That's why we call it Blue MAGA.
But here too, we see a crowd empowered by the belief that they're carrying out some patriotic duty.
I was invited here by the president!
Over the course of the day, 150 police officers are injured. After 4 p.m, Metro and Capital Police regain control of the upper levels. The final parts of the interior are cleared by other law enforcement, including federal agencies. Tear gas and flashbangs disperse the crowd on the inauguration terrace. The Virginia State Police and Arlington County Police help to reclaim that area.
Literally all you need to say is she should have been arrested once she got through. She shouldn't have been killed, yes, but you aren't proposing alternatives. No, you dumb fuck. You're not hearing the alternatives because you're so fucking bloodthirsty. I said like 10 times so far. There were numerous alternatives of how to deal with this fucking person that was trying to crawl to a fucking tiny ass space. Beating the shit out of them and then arresting them was one of them. I literally said that so many fucking times, dude. God damn it, dude.
Then rioters are swiftly pushed off Capitol grounds by a reinforced police line. Only now, more than 3 hours after Capitol Police first called them, do National Guard soldiers arrive.
You can defuse and turn down right now!
Troops were staging just 20 minutes away, but a recent procedural change meant the highest level of the Pentagon had to approve deployment. And Pentagon officials delayed the decision, partially in fear of bad optics, even as the Capitol was being overrun. As calm returns, the president tweets again. He repeats that the election had been stripped away, calls his supporters great patriots, and says, "Remember this day forever." The aftermath of January 6th has been as divisive as the lie that launched it. Even as one arm of government has indicted hundreds of rioters, Republican lawmakers continue efforts to normalize what happened with a mix of denials and conspiracy theories.
Some of the people who breached the Capitol today were not Trump supporters.
I knew those are people that love this country, that truly respect law enforcement, would never do anything to break a law. And so I wasn't concerned.
They include Paul Gosar, who'd been at the Trump rally.
If you understand that these methods exist to subdue people with knives, why is your stake to take still that Brian deserved it when, in my opinion, neither Babbitt nor Brian should have died? Okay. I'm going to repeat myself one last time. If Ashley Babbitt had a knife and was lunging towards a fucking congressperson with a knife, do you really think that I would be sitting here saying, I can't believe they didn't subdue her in a non-violent capacity? I mean, make no mistake. I think it's a justifiable use of force in that completely made-up hypothetical if you are trying to make a one-to-one comparison between Ashley Babbitt and Ma'Khia Bryant. Oh my God. Please stop asking me the same thing over and over and over again.
Is harassing peaceful patriots across the country.
And Andrew Clyde, who we saw earlier, standing just a few feet from rioters.
There was no insurrection, and to call it an insurrection, in my opinion, is a
Five cops
lie.
died. They were non-violent. No, 5 cops didn't die. And no, they were violent. They were. Of course, it was a violent mob. I'm not saying that it wasn't a violent mob. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? How do you not understand that there is a difference between defending a life of a human being and defending property? Okay? Saying she needed a knife to be considered a threat is like saying someone isn't being racist until they say the N-word. You are a fucking idiot, dude. I'm sorry. You are actually a fucking moron. And your moronic reasons, your moronic justifications for police use of force is unironically the same reason why cops get away with so much bullshit.
Republican leaders have blocked an independent investigation that could have brought new details to light.
I've made the decision to oppose the House Democrats' slanted and unbalanced proposal for another commission to study the events of January the 6th.
And in May, a top Republican was ousted from the party's leadership after blaming...
Didn't address chatter? What was the dumbass chatter's take? Here, you want me to just keep repeating it over and over again? Is that what you want? You just want me to keep repeating my position over and over again, it seems like. Because I think that's what it is. But dude, you don't provide alternatives. No, I did. I did. Numerous times. You're just not listening to it. Maybe a 60-second ad break will calm you down a little bit. No, he was talking about the guy who called you a dumbass and you didn't respond to him. Was a compliment probably. Yes, repeat your position until you stop defending terrorists. Dude, you are so bloodthirsty, brother. Like, really, you are incredibly bloodthirsty. That's crazy. Stop defending terrorists. Defending terrorists is when I say they should beat the shit out of these people and gas them until they push back, but maybe not murder them while they're crawling through a fucking tight-ass window. That's my defense of terrorists. Anyway, I'm running a fucking ad. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's so dumb. Yeah, actually ban that guy. What the fuck am I doing? He just keeps saying I'm defending terrorists. Why am I not banning this person? What the fuck is wrong with me? Where is he? 6-month sub. Thinks he could just like get away with this idiotic shit. Where is the guy? Where is it? Where is his fucking... Oh, Buckeye 1994. Oh, Rickalaf clapped him already. All right, bye-bye, Buckeye.
Blaming Trump for inspiring the riot.
And I think that the party is in a place...
There were no riot control officers in the hallway between Babbitt, the mob, and literal members of Congress. Holy shit. literal members of Congress at that point had evacuated. And yes, there were fucking literal members of, or there was a riot police behind them.
That we've got to bring it back from.
None of what happened on January 6th would have been possible without a huge mass of ordinary people who were proud of what they achieved. Millions around the country still believe the violence was not only justified, but necessary. And the forces that brought them there have not gone away.
Yeah, the Patriots are coming back, y'all. Hopefully y'all will be on our side when that happens.
I'm Haley Willis, one of the reporters on this investigation.
This is pretty good. This is a good video. Bro, I would have ended the stream. You're patient as hell. I mean, I deal with this every fucking day. This is always what happens. When you started this video, I disagree with your take. I truly thought that lady who got shot brought it upon herself, but when the cops could have easily used their taser or baton, some of the chat needs to understand that using force does not mean using a gun. Don't get me wrong. These people are fucking disgusting. They don't see you as human beings. I'm just letting you know. None of those people that were there, most of them don't see you as human beings. But the point is, you're supposed to be better than them, okay? All of those people, at some point, I promise, have advocated for the police force to use that kind of violence on people like yourself, people that look like you, people that have the opinions that you do. You think those motherfuckers aren't in my DMs telling me, like, I'm gonna fucking murder your family? It doesn't matter. I'm better than them, okay? And you should be too. That's the point.
Shell report about Britney Spears, an article from the New Yorker alleging for the first time that the superstar called 911 to report alleged abuse the night before that dramatic court testimony. We'll speak to the reporters in a moment, but first, Kaylee Hartung has the latest. Good morning, Kaylee.
Hey, good morning, Eva. She never had a chance. That's how one source described the circumstances of the hearing that put Britney under this conservatorship 13 years ago. Now, a new in-depth investigation with sources from Britney's inner circle, it sheds new light on what the New Yorker calls the conservatorship nightmare Britney's been living under.
This morning, new details revealed about the conservatorship Britney Spears has been.
Don't you say that the Democrats should play dirty like the GOP? Dude, how do you not comprehend that, like, doing politics is entirely different than fucking directly shooting someone? Like, how can you not see that that's entirely different? If Democrats were, like, writing bills that also allowed, like, Republicans to get fucking killed in a vehicular collision without any sort of, like, legal scrutiny, I would be against the Democrats doing that. As a matter of fact, I shit on Democrats who literally say stuff like, Republicans in red states deserve to die because they voted for Republicans. Okay? They don't. Like, why the fuck do I care about what happens in West Virginia then? Like, there's, you know what I mean? All of those people want me dead. Okay? A lot of those people want me dead. They think I'm a fucking terrorist, a traitor to this nation. They would love to see cops come in and beat the shit out of me. On camera in 4K. They would jerk off to it. That doesn't change my position that they still deserve to be treated as human beings. And I hope I can instill that lesson on you as well. I hope I can get you to fucking see it that way as well. Thank you, Trev Isn't 10 for the 25 get the subs. It's so funny that you guys like talk about how these guys want to murder all of you and shit like that. I mean, yeah, I deal with it on a daily basis, dude. Okay?
Been living under for more than a decade. In a new article in the New Yorker, Pulitzer Prize-winning author Ronan Farrow and co-author Gia Tolentino writing that just hours before Britney's bombshell 20-minute statement in court 2 weeks ago, the pop star called 911 to report she was a victim of conservatorship abuse. They write that night members of Spears' team began texting one another frantically. They were worried about what Spears might say the next day, and they discussed how to prepare in the event that she went rogue. It was at that court hearing where fans finally got to hear from the 39-year-old herself.
This is fucking insane. Also, much respect to Ronan Farrow.
Passionately describing to a judge how she says she's been isolated, exploited, embarrassed, and demoralized by the conservatorship that's controlled her life and finances for the last 13 years, asking that it be terminated. A conservatorship is typically granted for the elderly or someone unable to care for themselves. The New Yorker reporting that in 2008, a judge gave power over Britney's life to a team, including her father, after a hearing that lasted just 10 minutes, the day after Britney was committed to a hospital for a second time, as she was caught in a bitter divorce and custody battle. A former friend of the Spears family, whose testimony helped create the conservatorship, now telling the New Yorker she regrets her actions. At the time, I thought we were helping, and I wasn't. And I helped a corrupt family seize all this control. According to that former friend, Britney's mother, Lynn, thought the conservatorship would only last a few months. When the New Yorker spoke to Lynn last month, she said she had mixed feelings about everything. I don't know what to think. It's a lot of pain, a lot of worry.
Are you a shark and I'm on your back?
The article also revealing how involved Britney is in what's posted on her social media. Spears admitting in court she has lied online, pretending to be happy when she's not. The New Yorker explaining she does write her captions, but she must submit them to a company that manages her accounts for approval.
Dude, this is so psychotic. How can people be comfortable with this, dude? It blows my mind. It's so nuts. How can anyone be comfortable with this? How can anyone look at the situation and be like, yeah, that's appropriate. What's going on here is acceptable. It's appropriate. The judge did the right thing. Like, what the fuck, dude? What the absolute fuck, dude?
Team member telling the New Yorker Britney is not supposed to discuss the conservatorship. Spears has earned millions while under conservators' control. But in 2012, the New Yorker reports, while wrapping up a $1,300 dinner, Spears told a friend she couldn't afford to pay her half of the bill. At the time, she was working as a judge on X Factor, a $15 million job. But Spears said she was limited to a $2,000 weekly allowance, no matter how much she earned.
And among the bills Britney Spears does have to pay, according to the New Yorker, is
at the time, her fucking lawyer's weekly allowance was 5 times that. Her lawyer's weekly allowance was 5 times that. Like, her lawyer's getting paid $10,000 a week to keep her locked in this conservatorship while she was getting $2,000.
Is a $520,000 a year fee to her court-appointed attorney, Sam Ingham. And yet, again, according to the New Yorker, multiple sources tell them that they feel Ingham's loyalty is more so to the conservatorship and Jamie Spears than to Britney. Her next hearing is scheduled for July 14th, Eva.
Kaylee Hartung there for us. Thank you. And here now with the reporters behind Britney Spears' conservatorship nightmare from the New Yorker, Gia Tolentino and Ronan Farrow. Guys, thanks so much for being with us. So much to break down on this story. Ronan, let's start with you. That 911 call you reported on made the night before her court date last month. Had Britney Spears ever called 911 before, and why now?
This appears to be a new escalation in the case, and, it accords with what we learned in her testimony the next day, which is she really did describe this in terms of criminal abuse. She said, my family members and management involved in the creation of this legal structure should go to jail. She said this in court. We know this from her, and it obviously reinforces that she, it seems, wanted to create a legal record of that complaint. We also know from subsequent other publications confirming our reporting on this in the last couple of days that officers were dispatched in that moment. So it seems like we now know that testimony emerged from a moment of her being distraught over this arrangement.
And Ronan, to counter that, Jamie Spears has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing and says he only has his daughter's best interest at heart.
And that is a complication inherent in so many cases of alleged conservatorship abuse, Eva. This is a family that I think sincerely says that they have her interests at heart, a family that probably believed at various points that they were pursuing her best interests as they set this up. But what we reveal is also other conversations and records at the time show that there were complicated motivations beyond Britney Spears' well-being playing into this.
Gia, you take us through the history of this arrangement. Based on the conversations that you've had, do you think it was legitimately meant to help her in the beginning?
So everyone we spoke to agrees that Britney was in genuine crisis in 2008. And as Ronan says, that her parents were sincerely concerned about her well-being, that a change was necessary. But I'll just point out that there is a vast spectrum of assistance and structure that exists between struggling through crisis unsupported and entering a probate conservatorship of the type she's under, which is specifically and exclusively intended for people who will not get better. And because conservatorships involve another person or people maintaining significant daily control over basically all aspects of your personal, medical, and financial life, they are highly vulnerable to abuse, even in the type of arrangements they're intended for, the very elderly or people with profoundly disabling conditions.
And Rona, let's talk about this conservatorship. You describe it as severely limited.
Why are these reporters confusing you? In 2008, she did have like a massive meltdown that was very public, caused by paparazzi, caused by the people that were controlling her, caused by her probably being abused by the media her entire life and not having like a decent foundation within her upbringing, right? That's probably the reason why people originally thought, or people around her originally thought, like, this conservatorship could have been good. Okay.
Limiting Spears' freedom. What does it do? And the thing for so many of us that's hard to kind of put together is, how is this possible for a person who headlined a tour and made $130 million?
Well, that's exactly the question, Eva. This is someone who's extremely high functioning and tests the outer edges of to whom this kind of a legal restriction should be applied. Right now, Britney Spears' basic economic and legal rights have been ceded to others around her, including her father and a court-appointed individual. And she's saying, I have some issues that need to be worked out in therapy, but I do not deserve to lose all my basic rights. At one point in her testimony in court, she said, I have an IUD in me, I have birth control in me, and I'm not being permitted to remove that, and I want to have a child. These are basic questions of body autonomy, and a woman of around 40 who, many people looking at the amount of money she's making, the amount of performing she has done over the years of the...
They're saying that even in that case, it isn't meant for people in that condition either. I'm just assuming that the people closest to her, maybe... at the time, they knew more than what was let out in the media. I think the circumstances around her that we can observe probably led to her having loss of control almost completely in a delirious state. But it should not. I mean, even in that situation, it's like very strange to go for the literal last resort. You know what I mean? But I just assume that there could have been a well-intentioned beginning to... Why are you giving the benefit of the doubt to the people that are clearly trying to suck her dry? No. I'm not talking about fucking her dad and shit. I'm talking about other people that they reached out to around Britney Spears. Because, remember, even her assistant was like, this is too much. She's in a situation where, it's not like people around Britney Spears were all anti-Britney Spears. Even the people that she trusted felt like she was in a situation that was hard for her to recover from on her own. That doesn't change the fact that her dad abused that in an effort to go for the most insane and most ridiculous way of keeping her in check.
The conservatorship, I think in a very valid way say, hey, is this right? Is this what we do in our society when people have some mental health issues?
And Jay, you point out that both of these incidents that led to questions about her mental health, they stemmed from her desire to see more of her.
Because, like, there's some other stuff here, right? For example, some other stuff that we are not considering is, like, she lost the custody to her children. She lost custody to her children to the dad.